listening to are the sounds that have been missing from the policy debate around immigration, from the ones with the most at stake, children who've been forcibly separated from their parents.
Humanity, humaneness, benevolence. A simple word that encompasses the way that humans interact with each other. But we have to ask ourselves, when did America, the country who pride themselves on being the land of the free, become a deteriorating force behind immigration? People escaping natural disasters, desperate to escape military circumstances, and the need to search for better lives than the ones they had. Our video, though unsettling to hear, will expose the detention facilities for what they have turned into, an abyss for where America's humanity has disappeared into. From the textbook, we have found immigration industrial complex refers to the confluence of public and private sector interests in the criminalization of undocumented migration, immigration law enforcement, and the promotion of anti-illegal rhetoric.
Detained migrants. However, in the 1950s, the government deemed detention unnecessary and inhumane, and so released immigrants to wait inside the country while their cases were processed. But over the last 40 years, detention has become a politically easy solution to America's burgeoning immigration problems. So, how did we get here? It all started with hundreds of boats sailing toward Florida.
Opa-locka Airport, Miami, Florida. Here begins the final processing in the United States for thousands of newly arrived Cubans. It seems as though a whole country wants to flee.
The story of America's modern detention system began with President Jimmy Carter.
Detention was much more a kind of a holding function. It existed for the purposes of processing people, usually overnight, maybe 2 days.
Carter's makeshift camps for fleeing Cubans and Haitians soon evolved into a formalized detention complex after the election of Ronald Reagan. In 2018, Trump introduced zero tolerance, a policy of criminally prosecuting all illegal border crossers. Before, most migrants who crossed the border without authorization would be processed through the civil immigration court system and wouldn't face criminal charges. Prior to the new zero tolerance policy, children traveling with their families were either released with their parents under supervision or held together in detention as their cases were processed. Now, they were being taken to separate holding facilities. Trump said he ended the policy in June of 2018, but thousands of children have still not been reunited with their families.
There isn't water or soap to wash our hands after we use the bathroom. We have to ask for toilet paper if we want any.
My sister and I hold a blanket up for one another so no one can see us go to the bathroom.
I am 5 years old. I am from Honduras.
I am 7 years old.
I am from
El
Salvador.
I was born in El Salvador. I traveled to the U.S. to New Jersey. We had continuous by crossing the Rio Grande River on a Yarmouth to safety.
It's not really just about the border, it's about the entire system. I would start by looking at what are the conditions that are driving people to leave their homes.
The 1800s push and pull theory states that the circumstances of one's current country push them to migrate and the conditions of a different country pull them to go to that place. These social injustices in Mexico push people to migrate to the U.S., in which there is a pull of the American dream. When they arrive at the border after sometimes months of traveling, they are met with hostility and hate. This comes from political outcry that they are not welcome, further deepening an ethnocentric mindset.
Social outrage caused by Trump has led to stricter policies and a greater fear in the country. What does immigration mean in America? Criminalization, politics, and degradation have become synonymous with people who have come for a better life to the one place they believed they would have a fair shot. How wrong they were. Children screaming for their parents, grown men begging to know where their families are, and children becoming surrogate parents to each other to supplement the loss of familiarity they crave. Immigration detention centers, the abyss where America's humanity has shriveled up and decayed. Would you be able to look him in the face as he ripped his parents away from his small hands? If you could, that says a lot about our American way of life. Home of the free and brave, or home of the captured and cowardly?